All right, should you save or invest your emergency fund? Ooh, this is going to get controversial. Hey, what is up? Thanks for stopping by, taking your time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. My name is Keith Wilson. Hopefully here to spread a little wealth of information. Now, I want to talk about emergency funds. So you probably know that you should have an emergency fund to cover, the unforeseen expenses that come up, right? Like when the AC goes out, or car repairs, or medical expenses. But really, one of the biggest reasons to have an emergency fund is to cover living expenses in the event you lose your job. So the last thing you want to do is have to tap your 401k or retirement account to pay for this. So an emergency fund really is pretty much the first step in building your financial plan. Now, many financial advisors will tell you that you need 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in that emergency fund. And typically, where we see people put that is in a savings account or a money market account, something, liquid and accessible. That's the thing. You want it to be very accessible and easy to get when the time comes without having to pay all these fees or penalties to withdraw it. So here's an example. I was recently working with a client on their financial plan, and their target amount of 6 months living expenses to have in an emergency fund was close to $50,000. And first thing they said was, wow, that's a lot just to have sitting in a savings account earning next to nothing. And yeah, I know. And I hear that a lot. So here we go. This may go against the grain, but let's explore the possibility of investing a portion of that emergency fund. So if you opened a brokerage account or an investment account, there is an option inside that brokerage or investment account that you can allocate a portion to cash, which is simply a money market account, just like you would have at a bank. So for some people, it may make sense to split it up, perhaps 60% in that cash portion or money market account, and the other 40%, hey, invest it. Keep in mind, it's still one account, and it would be accessible to you. You want it liquid. Now, as far as the investment component, I wouldn't get too, crazy, too, nonsensical and invest in speculative stocks. You may want to consider just a good old balanced mutual fund with moderate to low risk. Look at the no load funds. And here's the thing. I can't recommend any particular fund to you because I don't know your situation, but there are tons of balanced mutual funds that will have a mixture of stocks, bonds, and cash and other securities. And I would only entertain this idea for certain people. For example, for those that already have more than 3 months of expenses saved up in their emergency fund, and those that are working in an industry with some degree of job security and have steady income. But who is not a good candidate for this idea? In my opinion, those that have income that is commission-based only, or they're really relying on bonuses to supplement their base salary, or independent contractors, or those that are, work in a industry with a high job turnover. So if you don't have a steady income and you may need to hit that emergency fund more often than not, and you may go through that cash and then have to sell that investment component, probably not a good idea. So if this is something you want to consider, though, I would talk with your financial professional first to make sure it fits in line with your goals and objectives. But keep in mind, once you have reached that target of 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up, hey man, it's done. There's no need to add more to it. And then you can move on and start saving more for your other goals like retirement or what have you. And it could be you won't have an emergency every single year that is going to require you to fully liquidate that emergency fund. And again, folks, I'm not saying this is right for everybody, just something you may want to consider.